Hi, my amazing planner friends. It's Jess from my Magical Planner, and today we're going to be working on our yearly reflections. I actually wanted to do this video weeks ago, but the honest truth is I've been stuck. I haven't been able to work through all of this until I actually sat down on Christmas Day and did it because I just couldn't get there. I felt like I had let myself down, that I wasn't doing a good enough job with my goals, that I had somehow missed the boat. So today we're going to be going over what annual goals I set last year, which ones I completed, which ones I didn't, and maybe why I didn't complete some of those. And I haven't checked any of these off, so I'm going to grab a pen to do that. So my personal focus for last year was to find and love the person that I am. So I think overall, I did do that, but maybe not in the way that I thought I would. So I had to find a community, expand online presence, join clubs, going out. Here's the reality of all of this. So I joined a club. I joined a book club, but it didn't go very well. I did it through my library. The books that they picked out really didn't align with books that I was interested in. The group was much older than me by a good 20 or 30 years, which is fine. I like having older friends. I think they're amazing. But there just wasn't a connection there. And combined with where my health is, it takes so much energy to go out, and the fact that I'm an introvert, that this might not have been the right avenue. I think it falls into, as Sierra from MakseLife would say, one of the should goals. We should go out and be social and be all these things, but sometimes that's not who we are. And so I think I did find my community, but not in these ways. I have a much smaller community, and that's okay right now for me. Is it going to be okay forever? I don't know. But right now, my community consists of my husband, my kids, and a few really close friends that I talk to on a regular basis. And I really don't have the energy to do a lot else. I also have started putting myself out there more online because I can do that from my home and it doesn't take as much energy per se for me, because that is a really huge factor in how all of these went and what I'm talking about with my energy. So if you're new to my channel, I do have some chronic stomach issues. So I almost died a couple of years ago. I guess it's like a year and a half now. And so I'm slowly making my way back from that. And I'm much better than I was at the beginning of the year. But I'm not at a normal person's energy level. So I can go out and do things and I can be present in things, but I get tired really fast and I just cannot do as much as someone my age normally would be able to do. That's what I have on that. So should I mark it off? Should I not? I don't know. I feel a little divided on it because I didn't do it in the way that I thought I would. But I guess I did find my community, or I found the community that works for me currently. Make time for hobbies. I feel like do that. Did I make time for as many hobbies or try as many new things as I thought I wanted to? No. And a lot of that goes back to my energy level and also where I decided to put my focuses. And right now my focus was not on hobbies this year. It was on my YouTube channel and feeling like I was completing something. And that was much more important to me this year than the hobbies were. I still made time for hobbies and more than I made in the previous year, but not as much. As far as trying new things, I feel like after probably March, I stopped really trying to do this. So that is one that I don't feel like I can mark off, but I did make time for hobbies. Be confident. Well, I'm better than I was at the beginning of the year. Am I as confident as I wish I was? No. Going from a 0 to even a 3 on confidence, I think is a huge stride. So I'm giving myself half credit because even though I'm not where I want it to be, I feel like I'm making progress in that direction, and hopefully I'll continue to do that. As far as MakseLife and Be Active in Club, I did it for, I think, two quarters, maybe 3. And life got so chaotic that I couldn't keep up with the club goals and stuff. So I felt like I was wasting money because it is a substantial investment. Until the end of the year, it's $150 per quarter. And then the price is going to go up, although they haven't said how much. So if you're considering it, you might want to do it now. Club is amazing. And if you have the time and the energy to put into it, what you get back from it is just amazing. And the people support that's there is unparalleled in any other platform that I've ever seen. I don't feel like I can mark that off because I didn't really do that. I have become a little bit more active on some other forums, and that's something I'm going to continue to try to do, but not for here. Love the person in the mirror. I haven't really gotten there. I'm closer, but not there yet. I didn't put a lot of focus on this and find clothes that flatter and makeup. I spent no time really on that. I did buy finally some new clothes on Black Friday, but that's the first time in probably 3 years that I've bought clothes outside of when they lost my luggage in Maine and I had to buy like a t-shirt and some pants and pajamas kind of thing until they found my luggage. Overall, I think I completed some of what I wanted, but I don't know that my expectations were realistic in this area. For fun and recreation, my focus was Just Do It, quarterly solo trips. So this didn't happen. I did 1, maybe 2 solo trips, but this was actually a money issue. I couldn't go on trips for a majority of the year because finances were tied up with my husband's endeavors. And so the money just wasn't there for me to do it. Even like small trips, just like staying at a hotel, that wasn't in the budget. So that didn't happen. However, the last solo trip that I went on, which was in the fall, that went really well. And surprisingly, usually when I go on a solo trip, if I get past the 24-hour mark, I feel so guilty and so self-indulgent that I am miserable the whole rest of the trip. This was actually a long trip. It was almost a week, I think, that I was gone. And it wasn't until maybe the last 24 hours that I was really ready to come home. And I think that was because I was so burned out because I hadn't had any smaller trips in between. I need to figure that portion out. The family trip to Europe, again, did not happen, in part because of the money issue and in part because I decided I wasn't planning a trip to take my family someplace without them being involved in the process and without their support or their interest. It just felt like too much. The other thing that came about kind of as a result of this, like I said, we have autism, we have ADHD, we have anxiety and depression kind of all wrapped in a nice little package here. And I have 4 kids, in case you guys didn't know. So going out is more of an ordeal for my kids than I anticipated. So this is another of those should categories. So I feel like we should go on all of these things. We should go and do these day trips and be adventurous and do all these things. But the reality of it is that my kids don't enjoy those things. Like even just going to the pool, like a public pool, is really overwhelming for them. So we did that this summer. We went and there were so many people at the pool that they had a good time for probably about half hour. And then there were just so many people there that it was completely overwhelming for them. So understanding what they need and how to go about it was really difficult. Even though I felt like we should be doing all of these things, it doesn't really fit with my family. And understanding that, I think, is crucial. So that's kind of where all of this falls. So we didn't do the family outings. However, we did spend time together instead. Stop waiting for others to do things. If I want to do something, I don't need a group. So I think I'm going to give myself half credit for this one. So I did do some things, maybe not as many as I would have liked because of the money issue. Okay, as far as work and learning, my focus, as I said, was on YouTube, and I really wanted to reach 2K subs by the end of the year. Totally didn't make it. I tried a big push and doing Vlogmas, and that helped. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up right now so I can see YouTube Studios. My current subscriber number is 1,800, so 200 away, which I don't remember what it was at the beginning of the year. It might have been, well, I think I can look at analytics and see how many I added this year. So I added 475 subs. But here's the thing on that. So when I started my channel, I was planning in an A5 wide planner, and my whole planning system has changed. And the people who maybe do the A5 wide planning aren't the people who do the Hobonichi planning. So I didn't take into account that switchover or any other changes I might have made to my channel. So my channel is kind of like me. It grows and it changes as time goes on. And I think that's the norm for most channels. But with planning, the system counts. So you're going to watch channels usually that do the same type of system that you do. I didn't get to my 2K, but I made growth there. So I'm still happy with that. Dedicated work schedule, this still hasn't happened. I often let my family's schedule take priority over my schedule. And so if they need something, I drop everything and I go. And I am told by my therapist, I need to stop doing that. So that is something that needs to carry over into this next year. Grow on Instagram to 2K totally didn't happen. Instagram is like my Achilles heel. I'm horrible at it. But let's look at what my current subscriber count is. Followers. I'm not even at 1K, guys. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, oh, it's so much easier to grow there. No, it's not. So I have 778 followers. Yeah, not so much. So yeah, I don't know that that's really grown much over the last year, and that is my own fault because I haven't been putting out as much content as maybe I should, and the algorithm has changed and I haven't kept up on how to keep myself relevant with the algorithm. Continued learning, better editing, algorithm, content, and planning. I actually do think I've done overall well with this as far as YouTube goes. Have I done amazing? Am I where I want to be? No. But am I better than I was last year? Yes. However, I will say that this has no concrete end to it, just saying better. So I think I need to be more precise when I set my goals for this year on that front. Be consistent, plan it, and stick to it. I think I've actually, the last couple months, done pretty good on that. Outside of, I had planned on this being 2 weeks ago, I think, and I just couldn't get there. So I did other things instead, and my Vlogmas was way more hauls than I anticipated because I just didn't have the time to do other videos that I really wanted. So yeah, that's kind of where that one is. As far as family and relationships, my focus was on connection. So the weekly check-ins, which is something I'd started over a year ago, those have fallen off in the last month just because of Vlogmas, to be honest. I've been putting so much focus on recording, editing, and everything that I haven't done it, but prior to that, I think it was doing really well. As far as family meals, we'll say half credit, and that's because I can get the kids there. I cannot get my husband there all the time or most of the time because he is a workaholic. And I mean that in the most loving way possible. He has this intense focus. He does amazing things. I admire him, but he has ADHD and he has severe time blindness. So he doesn't see when he needs to come here, and he doesn't, because he has an office now, and he doesn't make it a priority, and I can't make him make it a priority right now. So I'm giving myself credit in that I'm making the meals and that my kids are there and my kids are prioritizing it. And hopefully he will too in this next year because he's finishing a big project. As far as date my husband, yeah, that one didn't really happen. That was a time thing. He has this big government contract, and honestly, he has two jobs. He has his regular full-time job, and then he has a fiber business job. And when you're a startup business and you have another job, there just isn't a lot of time. And like I said, he had a government contract he was fulfilling, and that ends, I think, this year. And so I think that's more possible this next year. I did try and do things, but I think at a certain point I started to get resentful and stop trying. And I need to revisit that. Quality time with kids, I think I actually did really good on that one. Monthly friend outing, this has morphed into something more with at least one of my friends where we just have a set date where we get together every Saturday. And it's been a little bit more hit and miss between Thanksgiving and now just because of holidays and travel and all those things. But I think I've done really well on that one. Work on boundaries. Chores are still a big thing. Like we did really well for the summer, and then the school year hit and everything went off the rails, which is an issue. So one of the things I like, the expectations, I've been really clear on that. What I haven't been really good at is consequences or, the results of their actions, because I just haven't been able to figure that out. So that is something I need to work on in this coming year, I think. All right. Now we have health and wellness. Feeling better in my body. I will say that my energy overall is higher, which we already kind of talked about. My inflammation is lower. I'm no longer in constant pain. I did start taking vitamins, although I'm out right now. I need to get some. I need to work on the water intake and the healthy eating. But the other parts, I think I'm doing pretty well on. Decreased pain, I think we've done really well on that one. I'm in a much better place. I did not even attempt this one. So as far as walk a 5K in under an hour, I did not get the under an hour part, but I did succeed on the walk 5K portion. I'm in a much better place there, especially considering at the beginning of the year, I could maybe walk for 10 or 15 minutes because of the amount of surgeries that they did. And the fact that I had a bilateral pulmonary embolism and all these crazy infections. So when I started the year, I was really in a bad place. So I think I could walk for maybe 10 minutes without having to sit down. And so I got to the point where I could walk a 5K. It wasn't an hour though. I think I was an hour and a half maybe for it. I'm giving myself partial credit. And I think considering where I was starting from, I maybe didn't put that in the right perspective. Reduce stress, daily journaling. So I haven't done great on this one. This is another one that needs to go into next year, but it also isn't a concrete goal. Like, how do you measure reduced stress? So I need to think about that more for this coming year in the way I set that goal. For spiritual and personal growth, I really struggled with this area overall because Spiritual and personal growth is one of those areas where I've struggled with what to put here, especially since I stepped away from church. And there's whole reasons for that. But what I'd put in here is find peace with where I am. And I think I've done that. I don't feel guilty about the fact that I'm not going to church. I have no desire to go back right now. I think I'm good there. Meditation, this is something I need to figure out because with my ADHD, meditation needs to look different than what everybody else's meditation is because even though I don't have the hyperactivity, like fidgetiness, right? My brain does. And meds have helped with that. So I might need to revisit it and see if I can do it now. But in the past, I sit down to do like the calm meditation and my mind just goes 5 million different directions. And it's not really relaxing for me. It actually boosts my anxiety because I sit there and I slow down enough to think about all the things that I should be doing or that I need to do, that type of thing. So we'll revisit that one. Weekly inspirational TED Talks. I did not work on this one at all. I need to figure out a better way to define this because I gave myself such specific things that it didn't really work. Okay, financial. At the beginning of the year, I was completely oblivious to financial stuff. My husband does all of that. That is mostly my choice because financial stuff overwhelms me. So as far as use what I have before you buy, I think I did overall pretty good on that front. Mindful spending, I actually did really well on this one because money got really tight in this end of summer-ish. I learned some more budgeting things. I learned better techniques for buying groceries and things like that. So I think I can check this one off as well. Be aware of how I'm spending. I also think I can check that off. And I can also say that I'm a lot more aware of my money circumstances. I'm going to say that I surpassed my expectations as far as financial stuff goes. It's one of those instances where the more you learn, the more you know you need to learn. So that's kind of where I am as far as financial stuff goes. As far as physical environment, I had my focus as beautification and declutter and organize my house. I made this list of 100 different things I wanted to declutter. Yeah, that didn't really happen. Did I declutter things that were important? Yes. The bigger thing that I did was the yard. So I'd been sick for several years before I almost died. So I hadn't done anything outside in several years and love my husband, love my kids. ADHD, everybody, okay? So people tend to put things out and then forget about them. And the other thing that had happened is we had a garage fire. And so all the things from the garage had to be moved out so that you could, rebuild the garage essentially, which, yes, is attached to my house. It was very scary. And that's a whole nother story. If you guys want a story time on that, let me know. But in the process of that, we had to get everything out of the garage. We had a big dumpster and everything for everything to go in. But there were also things that got boxed up, or there were some things that just ended up in the yard, and like lawnmowers, wheelbarrows, bikes, things like that. And that combined with the fact that, we had a play structure that was no longer functional or a need for my kids because my youngest is 12 and we don't need swings anymore. They don't really use them. And the play structure was a used wooden play structure from a neighbor, and the maintenance on it just had not been kept up. So it was becoming a safety hazard, I felt. And so we took that down. We just, every Saturday, all summer long, we worked to clean up the yard. And that was so huge. Yes, the outside of my house is more beautiful. I also made some decisions on things that are worth my time outside and things that are not, because with the lower energy level, I need to be more choosy. The cleaning schedule. Oh, here's the yard. Yes, we can check off the yard. Decorate and paint house. So I finished the kids' bathroom, but that's the only thing that really happened in that realm. The cleaning, I worked very hard on this all year long, and it's been a challenge because I want my family to be involved in it, and I just can't do it all myself anymore, and they're not happy about being on board, I think, is really where we are. Weekly car cleaning, that never happened because I was so focused on the house cleaning. So I think I need to do a better job of defining this and also setting better parameters. So, and that goes back with the family stuff of setting some boundaries there. Okay, that's where my annual goals were last year. I was going to make this a video of doing these and going over the reflections, but I think we need to do that in a separate video because this is much longer than I thought it would be. So that'll be tomorrow's video of me going over reflections. I think this week I'm going to try and get all these videos out of going through the process of setting up my goals for next year. So if you're doing the same, feel free to tune in every day to follow along. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. Let me know, how did you guys do on your annual goals last year? Are you feeling like you made it? Are you feeling like there's some work there? What was your biggest accomplishment this last year? I'm still trying to figure out mine. Anyhow, with that all being said, I will see you guys tomorrow with my reflections. And until then, I'll see you real soon.